Well, thank you, Mayor, for sitting down with us for a minute for our Chairman's Club Spotlight. And if you wouldn't mind, just tell us your name and what you do.
Certainly. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville.
And how long have you been the mayor?
This is my 4th year on a 4-year term, so year number 4, exciting time.
Time flies.
Yes, it does.
How long have you been involved with the chamber?
Let's see. I was with the chamber when I was on city council, of course, because we support the chamber as an elected body, and that was from 2002 through 2006. And then when I was appointed to the Water and Sewer Authority Board of Directors since 2006, every year just supporting the chamber through that entity, and then again as mayor. So actually it's been a very long time. Yeah, so since 2002, in some type of way I've been involved with the chamber.
Very cool, and we love having you.
Oh, thanks.
What do you love most about your job as mayor?
Wow, that is a difficult question. Let's see, let me think. No, it's really people. I really love people and making change that's effective and impactful for the future. And so, and I only have that opportunity once we have interaction with people, constituents or people who don't even live in the city, just meeting people and reading books and having interchange. And so the thing that I like most is people.
And let's have a little fun right now.
Okay.
Tell us about your family and what you do in your spare time.
Oh my gosh, this is my love. This is my energy, my motivation, and my purpose, really. My family, I have 3 children, my husband and I. We've been married. This year will be 24 years. Yeah, thanks so much. And we have 3 children, a boy and 2 girls. And our children, it's 16, 18, and Joel will be 19 next month. So he is a college student at Georgia Southern, and our daughter Olivia is a senior at Douglas County High in the IB program. And Anna is a junior. She's 16 and she's at Douglas County as well, and she's taking AP. So that's our family. When we were young, when they were really little, they attended First United Methodist preschool, and every Friday we had Friday Family Fun Night. And so everyone knew us for, Friday Family Fun Night. They would tell the teachers, and from preschool all the way through middle, kind of in high school, they would talk about it. And so we were kind of known. I was involved in PTA and a lot of booster clubs for band and chorus and all of that. And so we've kind of outgrown Friday Family Fun Night because there were games and they were little. We would do puppet shows. And for one season, I think they were 8, 10, and 12. We read Lemony Snicket, that whole series, a series of unfortunate events. There were 13 books in the series. And so my husband worked at night at that time. And we read, I started out reading to them, and the more they were able to read, they would read a little bit. And so that's kind of our fun thing. We love vacations, but more so spending time together. Movies, since we've outgrown the puppet shows and Scrabble and Trouble and all those board games, we kind of do movies now, or we'll sit and watch a film. And just recently Netflix had Lemony Snicket on. This is their 2nd season, and so it's really cool. It comes full circle that when my son was home for break, we all sat down and watched Lemony Snicket on Netflix. So we're like, do you remember that when we were 8 and 10? So those are the kind of things that we do now. We kind of will go to films together, vacations, and just kind of interacting, even at the dinner table. We have a lot of fun just talking about life and conversation. So that's a long answer, but that's all I can do.
Cool.
Just hang out with my family.
I love that. I love that. Let's see. Who has had the biggest impact on your career and why?
Wow, let's see. I would say my mom. And my mother passed away about a year ago this time last year. And unfortunately, she had Alzheimer's. And so her memory was kind of leaving her. But, and she was an educator. And in the formal sense and the not so formal sense, when we were in elementary, when we were young, her children, my brothers and my sister and myself, she would tell us about everything, and we'd read books, and that's probably where I had my love for reading as well. And so she talked to us. There were this series from Ebony where was it, history books about African American experience in America. And so my mom had us, lay on the floor like spoons. My head would be at my brother's feet and, his head at my feet. And she had us laying on the floor and she said, this is a Middle Passage and these are how your ancestors came to America. And so said your Egypt, there are kings and queens in your lineage and walk with your head up. It doesn't matter, the experience that we've been through in America, but just know who you are and who God has called you to be. And so I think my mom was the greatest impact because she not only taught us that, but when we were in college, my sister and I, she went back to school and eventually she graduated and became the director of Head Start in Ohio and kind of taught throughout. And she was my Sunday school teacher. So my mom is a great impact in that she helped me to have a love for community and giving back to the community. When I was 9, but we went to nursing homes and, she was a missionary board at church. And so we were in church on Sundays, on Wednesdays for Bible studies, on Thursdays for choir rehearsal, Friday night, we were always in church.
The door was open.
I know, we were there. And so she would go to nursing homes and she's like, well, I'll read a book to them. And she made blankets for them. And she said, and you sing, you take this hymn book, and I could barely read. And she's like, you read these songs and you look at when the notes go up, you go higher. And I could read, but not read music like that. But so I think my mom is a great, great impact. I know she's the most impactful person outside of my relationship with the Lord. Someone who was physically on the earth is my mother. It's the greatest impact in my life because she instilled community and faith in me.
Yeah. Love that. All right, we will end on this note.
Okay.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Ooh-wee. That's a nice question, because who in the world, no one wants to be, and I didn't want to be a politician, so I wanted to be a nurse. And actually, at that same time, I think 8 and 9 was kind of informative years. It changed my life in a lot of ways. My mother had me marching on the Board of Education for equality in books. It wasn't our school, but she said, it doesn't matter whose school system it is or what school on what side of town. If it isn't equality for one school system, there it's an equality for everyone. It affects everyone. So because we're all in the same community. And so I did that, but I was kind of precarious and didn't always listen, didn't stay inside the lines. And so she was at choir rehearsal one Thursday night and she said, we had to stay within the fenced part of the church and in the parking lot to play. We're playing tag and there was an older boy, that was 9, and Ricky Baldry, I'll never forget, he ran out in the street and I was it. So he tagged me and I was it. And I was running and I could hear my mother's voice like, stay inside the fence line. But I ran out in the street anyway and got hit by a car. I know. And so I was lying there on the ground and I looked and my leg was twisted and I couldn't stand up, and my sisters start crying and everyone was running out of the church and the pastor started praying. I heard ambulance and it was really bad. And so I had a fractured femur and I ended up a whole year in the hospital. I had traction. I missed a year of school. I had a body cast. But those nurses at that Catholic hospital were so caring and so loving that I thought, this is what I want to do. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse too and give back and help kids that have had accidents or whatever, because my mother was there and she was there to comfort, and my dad would come, they'd take turns, and my family was always at the hospital. But when they weren't there, the nurses were so kind. Some of them weren't so kind, especially when they're pulling the traction and your legs are moving. You're like, oh my gosh, this hurts. But I wanted to be a nurse. And I took Latin in school and all of that. But when I got in college, I was like, oh, this is not for me. Me walking and seeing people sick, I'm like, I didn't know about the bedpan part. And so it quickly changed. But that's what I wanted to be growing up, was a nurse. But I think it's still in the same field of not physically giving and healing people, but making a difference in the community. I still like to serve. So I guess that's what.
Well, again, thank you for taking a minute out of your day to sit down with us. And we appreciate all that you do for Douglasville.
Thank you.
And all of our followers, tune in next month for the next Chairman's Club Spotlight.
Thanks so much.